Welcome to a little investigative video of my Revox A77, which I bought recently. I've taken it out of the case. The objective of this video is just to see what condition it's in inside and get some sense of what I need to do to record it to get it up and working. I have not had it powered up yet for reasons you'll see in just a moment. I've already taken the rather splendid wooden case off this tape recorder. That proved to be fairly easy, a matter of removing 4 screws in the rear of the unit and simply sliding the case off the chassis. The case seems to be in reasonably good shape, I think, and it seems to fit quite well. What was interesting was this diagram inside, which shows wiring to what appears to be external speakers. If anyone can cast light on that, I would be very happy. It seems to indicate connections for 2 external speakers. I understand that certain Revox A77 models were fitted with an optional external speaker amplifier. So this may have been one of those. I have no way to tell really until I get deeper into the machine. It seems in reasonably good shape. What's interesting about this machine is that it has clearly been adapted and used in either a recording studio or in a broadcasting situation. I've no idea about the age of the machine. We'll come to that in just a moment. The reason I assume it's modified is because of this top panel, which is quite different, looks a little bit homemade, and is equipped with XLR inputs instead of what I assume were the standard phono inputs on this kind of machine. This whole back panel, top panel rather, seems to have been replaced. It looks a little bit homemade. There's the remote function still installed. Then there are XLRs. I'll turn around and do this the right way. There are XLRs for output on both channels and input on both channels, and rather oddly there is a radio input via a DIN socket, which seems kind of incongruous to me. The reason I haven't had it powered up yet is because the mains power was supplied by this old school Canon 4-pin connector. And the first thing I'm going to do is to replace this with a standard IEC connector, because the male plugs for this are rather expensive, they're hard to get, and also not rated at any more than 200 volts, which clearly is not appropriate for a machine run off 240 volts UK mains AC current. So I'll be replacing this. I've never seen such a plug used for mains power supply before, but presumably this was one of the DIY or looks like a fairly professional adaptation. The machine is a 2-speed running at both 7.5 and 15 inches per second, which was not that unusual for Revox machines. All the other controls are intact. The splicing block seems to have been applied aftermarket, which was again pretty common in broadcast situations in this era, and looks well used. The other controls seem in reasonably good condition. Again, I haven't powered it on, so I don't know whether they work. There's this marvelous lowering Revox mechanism, which I always thought was a good idea. There's a speakers off button, which implies there are indeed speakers, but that could have been attached as standard. Real motors off. I don't want to get into the head blocks too much and see what sort of condition they're in, but they seem reasonably intact, which is good. The capstan looks in reasonably good condition, although there is some wear on it there, and the pinch roller likewise dusty, but looks like it's in reasonably good shape. What's this control over here? That, I guess, is for pulling the pinch roller and the tape off the heads, and I think that's for use with queuing tapes, as you can, with fingers, roll them back and forwards to find an edit point and mark it with your Chinograph pencil. So that's the front of the machine. It has the standard 4-digit tape counter, which, as we remember, isn't much use for anything. Let's look around to the back of the machine and see what's going on inside. Okay, here we can see the Revox label. This is serial number 068720. Made in Switzerland, of course. I noticed that there's in the bottom right hand corner, there's a double insulation symbol, which is kind of surprising. The machine is earthed, grounded. There is an earth attached through this XLR thing, but that may not have been standard. Otherwise, things inside look pretty reasonable, if somewhat dusty. There are the speaker terminals, so presumably we can tell at some point whether this was the optional speaker amplifier supplied with the machine, or installed in the machine as an optional extra. I don't know what mark this is. The fact that Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, etc. is not labelled on the machine implies to me it's a Mark I A77, which puts it firmly back in the past. There are loads of relays in here. On the bottom of the machine, I'm going to turn it onto the bottom of the case now. There are various trim pots to adjust things like bias, meter calibration, bias trap, whatever that is, reproduction level. Oh, it says reproduce amplifier, so again, I don't know whether that is the optional speaker amplifier. Various other trim pots seem to have been marked on the bottom of this machine. Oscillator Rec 1, Rec 2, those must appear underneath the chassis. Maybe you remove this strip and get access to those, I don't know. Then back inside again, there's the usual fine Swiss engineering. This is a really, really nicely engineered Swiss product. Imagine what it would cost to make one of these today. Kind of like a Hammond organ. Yeah. So there's the machine. Run at 240 volts. I've no idea what its history is. I bought it used. And intend to renovate it, at least plug it in and get it working again. So if you have any guidance, particularly on how old the machine is or what this configuration would have been, whether it's a Mark I or Mark II, please send me a message using the link below. Thanks for your time, and I'll make more videos as I get this machine powered up, hopefully and working. But the first job is to replace that rather clumsy Canon type loudspeaker connector, is what it's supposed to be, but it was used as an AC mains connector in this modification. As you can see a little bit about the modification underneath, it's quite well done. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching.